Good morning, everyone. Stitch It Pam here. Morning, Stacy. I decided to go with part 2 today and make the sides of the basket that we started a couple days ago. And I'm going to just wait a few minutes before I start to let people come in if they're just got the notice, because I just put it out 30 minutes ago. So how are you today, Stacy? I think before I get started with the sides, awake, yeah, me too. I just started my second cup of coffee here. Yeah, thank goodness for Friday. Um, I think I'm gonna weave in these ends while we're waiting here a little bit before I get started on the sides. Um, Sometimes I work these ends in the beginning within my work. I didn't do that on here, but maybe show you that at another time. So when you're starting the bottom of your basket, when you do your single crochets, you can actually wrap your stitch around these and weave them into your work so you don't have to pull them in later. Um, I like to use a threader needle because it has a big, hole in it. And usually I use the one with the dull end. This one has a sharp end, mainly because the dull end doesn't get stuck in between the fibers of the yarn and snag. Um, I couldn't find that one this morning, so I'm using one with a sharp end. But what I do is take these ends and weave them in and out of my work to kind of hide them. And it's a little stiffer with this jute to do that, but I'm just going to pull these in a short ways because I did knot and it's really tough to pull them through too. Regular yarn wouldn't be like this. Let's see here. Get the big tools out. So you pull that through there. And I like to use a little dab of glue, fabric glue. I've just happen to have this jewelry and metal glue. I do have Aleene's fabric glue too, that I use sometimes. And just going to get a little thing for my glue to sit on here. Sometimes I, put the fabric glue on a piece of paper and then dab it on with the needle, but this has a sharp point to it. So I'm just going to put a little dab in there, and I like to kind of poke it in there to get the fiber secured in there. And then I kind of push down on it a little bit. And you want to make sure when you're using regular yarn that you don't get too much in there, because you don't want the yarn to be saturated. It's just to keep it tucked in there. Otherwise, like if you're making an afghan or a hat or anything, you don't want those ends pulling out when you wash them, or through the years of using the item, you don't want those ends to kind of pull out and hang. This jute tends to want to shed a lot too. So, yeah. Yes, definitely. Yeah, you put glue by the dot, by the knot. Yes, that's an excellent idea too, Stacy. I never did that until a few years ago, where I saw on somebody else's um, stream that they used fabric glue, and it's such an excellent idea. You know, my grandmother made me several items, crocheted them through the years, Afghans and whatnot. And you know, after I've washed them, those um, ends kind of have pulled out, and you don't want your all your hard work coming unfrayed or hanging out on your item. So we left off with the last row of the bottom of the basket. And what we're going to do here is we're going to yarn over and pull it through to end off that stitch there. And you can actually wrap a knot in this. And what we're going to do next is we are going to work on the wrong side of the piece, which is, this would be the inside. Well, no, let's see. Yes, this would be the inside. So this is the bottom, the right side of the piece that you're working on. And you can see the top of the stitches that clarify that this is the correct side, or the right side of your working piece. So we're going on the wrong side. And what we're going to do here is insert your hook. We're going to be working in this little ridge back here. If you can see these two stitches behind your single crochet row here. And I think what I'll do is I'm going to take a yellow marker and highlight that so that you can see it a little bit better. See if this works here. So this is the ridge. There's, you know, your two, because you're using two strands, this is your ridge behind your chain, your single crochet row. You're not going to be going into this. You're not going to be going into this chain. You're going to be going into this ridge here. And I don't mind putting this marker on here because I'm going to crochet over it. So, you can start anywhere around here, but I like to follow up with where I ended off on the last row here. So we're going to insert our hook from the inside out. And then we're going to take two strands of our jute fiber and slip stitch that in there. You can go up a size needle too. I probably would have benefited to go up to an I size for this, and would have made just a little bit easier to work with this stiff jute because I'm a tight crocheter. So pull your loops down, chain one. Actually, we already have the chain there. So this is the wrong side we're working on. We're going to insert our hook and make a single crochet. And I highlighted the opposite side. Oh, Pamela. Pamela, Pamela. Okay. Is it all in the same space? Hi, Danielle. When you say, is it all in the same space, are you talking about the stitch itself? Hi, Cal. Thanks for stopping. The slip and chain one. Yes. Yep. So I'm going to go into this side because I was working from the back side here. Okay. I'm going to attach my thread again here. So I highlighted that ridge. So for those of you who may have just come in, we're going to be working in the ridge of the back of this last single crochet row. This is the front of your work. This is your crochet row of single crochet. We're working on the back of it in this little ridge. There's two, that's the ridge. And it's not the single crochet itself, it's behind it. So I'm attaching let's see here. Just looking at my written instructions here real quick. All right. So, all right. We'll get it started here. Pull that through. There we go. That's pulled up a little bit too loose. I'm going to tighten it up because I was trying to get those threads through there. So we're going to single crochet in here. We slip stitch to get the thread connected. So we're not actually chain one. We're slip stitching in that, slip stitching the jute, connecting our jute. Now we're single crocheting in that same stitch that we connected our thread to. And there's that ridge. We're going to single crochet. And what we're going to do is we're going to be doing that all the way around this row. So it's going to make a ridge. It's going to make a ridge for your basket. This can kind of be tricky going in that ridge back there, especially with the jute, because it's stiff to work with. I'll show you this. Now, after I get done with this row, this is what it's going to look like. You're going to see that single crochet row of your bottom. It's going to stick out like that. And it actually forms a ridge. Hi, Huawei. Thanks for coming in. Cheese on the ceiling. Oh, you're mentioning cheese. It reminds me of I went to my granddaughter's soccer game last night. The weather was awesome. She's in first grade, so it's kind of fun watching it. But my other granddaughter, who is 11, and she was sitting there and eating cheese curds, and we had quite a conversation about the different types of cheese. It was really something. All right. This, like I said, it's kind of tricky getting in the ridge on these because the jute is kind of tight. After I get around here, it'll be smooth going. My fingers don't want to work this morning either. Okay, tell you what, I have a smaller crochet hook. You could work this with a size smaller crochet hook, just this row, but I don't want to get that connected. That's the wrong. Trying to find that other loop. There it is. Okay. Yeah, this is tricky. But I like the ridge that it makes. I mean, we could just do the back of the back loop of the single crochet, but I personally prefer going in this ridge. You get a different look. And you only have to do it for this row, this first row, to make the sides. Oh boy. Here we go. All right. I have put the pattern in the description, but this part is there's a couple things to making this basket and finishing it off that I had a hard time kind of describing. You'd be better off with a picture with. Oh, come on. And if you don't, not everybody knows, I do talk to myself. Stacy knows that. So I'm going to turn this on the side so you can see what I'm doing here. There's that ridge. You can distinctly see the single crochets of the last row on the bottom there. Good thing this isn't a big basket because there we go. I know this big one I made, I didn't have that hard of a time getting in there, but this is the big one. But this jute is a little bit thinner strands. Hopefully it won't take me a half hour just to get around the first row here. I don't want to go down a size hook because then the outside edges are going to be narrower. I mean, you can. That's up to you. But if you want a different look, tell you what, I'm going to loosen those up a little bit. Take a smaller hook. I'm going to pull it up a little bit there so I can get my hook in there better. All right. Yeah, that helps. I can get in there better. I probably could have done that before I went live, but like I said, my fingers aren't working as well this morning. Yeah, the jute is definitely different to work with versus a yarn, but I do like the finished look. And I think, you know, if you're going to use it to put your flower pot in, that one is stuck. Here we go. If you're going to use it to set a small flower pot in, you know, I just think that it gives it a stiffer feel and more support, I guess you put it that way. All right, definitely having technical difficulties here. There we go. So I'm going to pull that up there. I'll just do that all the way around, then I won't have such a hard time getting in there. I went through and highlighted these ridges so that you guys could see them better, because it is kind of hard to see it, and if you've never done that before, you're probably not sure where to go with your hook. And again, we're working from the inside out versus the outside in. Oh, come back to the camp. That would be good. You know, it would be nice to be able to see me working on it. Thank you, Kellyanne. We're almost to the end there. All right. Just pulling that up a little bit. All right. Okay. Almost there here. This is our last stitch. There's our stitch marker I left on the last row. I hadn't moved that. So 36. Okay, yeah, we should have 36 stitches. And I'm going to slip stitch into that first working single crochet there. Chain 1, and I'm going to move that marker up. Chain 1 and single crochet in that same stitch. So this row should be a lot smoother. And you can decide on what we're going to do here is single crochet, 1 single crochet in each stitch around. So we should have 36 stitches at the end, and we're going to repeat this throughout the pattern. On this one here, I did 3 rows of jute. You can choose how many rows. That's a personal choice. And then I went with 1, 2, 3, 4 rows of cotton. So I think for the tutorial, I'll probably just put a couple rows of jute in here and then start the cotton just to... I did go through and put the rest of the part 1 crocheting the basket, the pattern, in the part 1 video, and I do have the second part of part 2, the pattern, listed in the description. So can you see what I'm doing okay? Yeah, it is relaxing if you, like I said, that first row of working in the ridge is kind of tight there. I'm a tight crocheter as it is, but which makes it kind of worse. But with this basket, I want to make sure that it has nice stiff sides. So, you know, on this row, we are not working in the ridge anymore. We're making 1 single crochet in each single crochet around. I'm going to turn this other light on here. Oops. Hello, Yarns for a Smile. Thank you. Thank you for stopping. All right, so we should be at the end of that row there. I'm just going to double count my stitches here, double check. There's our first stitch. It's got the marker in it. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, and 36. And we're going to slip stitch in that first stitch again. That's where our marker is, so we know for sure that's the first stitch. Chain 1, single crochet in that first stitch of the last row, move our marker. You know, if you're a seasoned crocheter, you're probably comfortable not using a marker. It's just for me, it's a good habit to get into, especially if I'm making a hat. I've crocheted a lot of hats. I have an Etsy shop. I haven't done much with my Etsy shop lately, but when you're making a hat, it can be important to have know where your starting and ending point is. My Etsy shop is Count Your Stitches on Etsy. It's all one word, Count Your Stitches. If you want to see some of my other work, eventually I'm going to activate my Facebook page again that I had for my Count Your Stitches, so that you can see some of my other work and, you know, post it, my current projects in there. I've been taking a break from selling on Etsy to just crochet stuff myself and do art and learn new things other than crocheting. So I haven't put anything in my Etsy shop for a while, but I'm really enjoying YouTube, meeting a lot of nice people. If you want to catch me working live on my different crafts I've been exploring with, you can catch me on Stacy May Catitude channel. She generally goes live 10 a.m. Her time zone, which I can't remember what time zone that is, but she'll be going live. She goes live pretty much every day, starting at 10 a.m. So pretty much after I end the stream, looking at the time here. How am I doing for time? Oh, 10 minutes. 10 minutes and counting. So it took me a little bit longer to get that first row done than I like. Yeah, well, this jute is hard to work with. Yeah, yep. And working in the back ridge was really um, that back ridge is kind of um, you know, difficult, challenging. So let's see here. I do have. Oh, I guess I don't. Stacy may have to leave because her channel starts right at 9 o'clock. Stacy, I understand if you have to leave and go over there. I think what I'm going to do so that I can show you this other stitch, I'm just going to put this one row on here of the jute and connect the other yarn right away so that you can see that last row, how the last row is worked on the project. Because you already know the single crochet. So whoops, sorry. Should have muted my phone. So normally I'd work a couple more rows of jute. I'm going to just work one row of the cotton here, which would be this row here on the work, so that I can show you that last row before Stacy's show starts. I don't want to interrupt with her. So we're going to chain one, single crochet, and I'm actually only using one strand of cotton. You can use two strands. Like on this basket that I made here that you see in the picture, I used two strands of cotton and a different two strands of jute that was a little thicker than this stuff. So that's a much bigger basket. Oops. I didn't move my camera over here. Yeah, I have a lot of the wood buttons in different sizes that I ordered, and I connected it on with a strand of leather. So let's see here. Slip stitch in that first chain there, chain 1, and I'm going to just double check my stitches here. That should be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, and 36. So, for the sake of time, I'm not going to bore you with all the other rows. We can pretend that this basket is the same height as this one here. Okay? And I'm going to show you the last row on here, which is a reverse single crochet. So, for a reverse single crochet, you're going to chain 1 in that last chain. You know, we just closed off on that. So we're going to chain 1, and we're going to insert our hook into this chain behind, wrap the yarn around, and slip stitch, or let me start that over here. Insert your hook in that chain behind. You're working backwards with this reverse single crochet. Wrap around your hook. So here you're working here into this next single crochet. You're working backwards. Instead of going this way, you're going this way. It's kind of hard to see on the screen too because it's going to go backwards, but insert your hook in the single crochet just like you would be if you're going this way. Pull through the 2 strands, in through the stitch, and you can see how that looks different than a regular single crochet stitch around there. Kind of trims it off. I like to use that stitch. It's just a personal preference. This is going to be more like a coaster, but that's okay. I wanted to be able to show you this stitch here. Did you guys all catch that? Hi, Carol. Thanks for stopping. Hi, Inked Pulp. And I pulled out, I chose this light blue because I think you can see it a little better than the darker yarn. And always wrap your yarn in a ball before you start. Don't grab a clump like I did this morning and the end of my yarn is getting wrapped around here. Now, I taught my granddaughters to wrap their yarn in a loose ball, so that this doesn't happen. And what do? Okay. So we'll reverse single crochet all the way around to make that nice decorative trim on the edge to finish it off. I think we'll call this one a coaster. Yeah, you've never done one? Yeah, I had never heard of one either until a few years ago. And I use it to trim a lot of my hats that I sell on Etsy. Well, I was telling everybody else that I haven't been active on Etsy for a while because I've been doing a lot of crafting, but on the side for myself. It's a little tricky to get used to, but it's actually just working a single crochet backwards. It's getting this trim right to look right. And all right, coming to the end here. And I just want to make sure I got the right amount of stitches here. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, I'm kind of a stickler about counting my stitches here. And I think I only counted, I think I need one more here. Nope, I got the right amount. Okay. So I'm not going to join in that. Okay. Now, to get this joined so that it looks smooth and not chunky is the trick. I go into that same area where I started my chain and slip stitch in there. And don't pull out your yarn yet. I would just cut it with a little bit longer strand. So you like I said, this is a little bit shorter basket, so I could show you that last stitch here. This is more coaster size than a basket size, but I did want to show you how to pull in the ends like I was showing Stacy at the beginning. I don't know how many of you were in here when I did that. Let's see here. So you need a weaver needle, preferably one with a dull end. I don't like using these sharp ends because they get stuck in the strands, but you're going to want to weave your yarn in to hide it. Just pull it in between your work here. And then I'm not going to glue this because I want to continue the sides of this basket, but then I would take a fabric glue and put a little bit on the end of your needle and stick it right in that area where you're wanting to hide your thread. And then cut your thread. This is my starting point here. Hi, Kim. Yeah, so then, you want to glue your ends in because otherwise they pull out and they hang out and look ugly, So, like I said, I'm not going to glue that down because I want to take that off of there and work the rest of the side of the basket. So it just gives you an idea of the way it looks. And you want to weave in the rest of your strands here. Don't just cut them. Make sure you weave them in and glue them a little bit. Anybody have questions on that? I really appreciate you all coming in here. Thank you, Kel. It was I'm feeling kind of uneasy about it because of that first starting point where I was trying to get in the ridge there, but I guess that's a learning experience. So I'd like to try to go live more with working on my crafts. With the tutorials, you can edit them, but well, good. I think, yeah, just find your right size that you feel comfortable with your hook. For this, anywhere between a G, H, and an I. My next one, I'm going to make an I hook, use an I size I hook for, because then it won't be quite so tight. Like this one here, I started with an I hook, and going in the ridge is not so tight then. And like I said earlier, if you're having a problem seeing that ridge, maybe for your first basket, take a marker and highlight those stitches all the way around before you start stitching in them, because it can be confusing with that ridge, between identifying the ridge and the single crochet itself. So this one I used an eye hook for, and it's going a little smoother. Eye size hook. Just a hook size up from this one that I used for this basket. So I want to thank you all for coming in here. If you like the tutorial, if you like my channel, please hit the like button and share out to your friends. The more the merrier. And I just want you all to know that you can also watch me on Stacy May's channel, Stacy May Catitude. I'm in there pretty much every day when I can make it. That's my crafting time and relaxation, stress-free time. She has a really nice channel. And other people too, like Kelly Ann does a streaming once or twice a week, I believe Kelly does, where she does different projects. Check her channel out too. And like I said, I'd just like to thank you for coming in. So you guys have a great rest of your day. I'm going to head on over to Stacy's stream, and I'm sure she's probably got it started, or if she hasn't, she'll be starting it very soon. And if you go up on the chat further, you'll see her channel link. So have a great Friday, everybody. Thank you.